Welcome to Nuclear Hot Seat, the weekly international news magazine keeping you up to date on all things anti-nuclear. My name is Libbe HaLevy. I'm the producer and host, as well as a survivor of the nuclear accident at 3 Mile Island from just 1 mile away. So I know what can happen when the so-called nuclear experts get it wrong. This week, we again present Voices from Japan, an interview with Laura and Gichi Inoue, who run Komuro Homestay, a support organization that allows women and children of Fukushima to get some time away from their home city. That interview, plus Numbnuts of the Week, and all the news will be coming up in just a few moments. Today is Tuesday, June 10, 2014, and here is the week's anti-nuclear news. First, breaking this profoundly sad story that the first death has been counted among the sailors from the USS Ronald Reagan, who got hit with massive radiation while on an humanitarian aid mission to Fukushima in Japan immediately after the earthquake and tsunami. Theodore H. Holcomb, an aviation mechanics structural petty officer second class, who was assisting in Operation Tomodachi, died on April 24, 2014, of synovial sarcoma, a rare form of inoperable cancer. Holcomb was aboard the USS Reagan when it sailed into the radiation plume released by TEPCO's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear facility in the days immediately following the March 11, 2011 earthquake and tsunami. He began having breathing problems while still in the service and was subsequently discharged with breathing problems, pain in his right shoulder, and an excessive heart rate. He was diagnosed with cancer just before New Year's 2012. It was located next to his heart and causing both lung and heart issues. Research on the internet revealed that this form of cancer only occurs in 0.001% of the population under 60 years of age. Holcomb was 38 years old. He is survived by his 5-year-old daughter. Holcomb was part of the class action suit filed against TEPCO by sailors of the USS Reagan for failing to inform them of the danger into which they were sailing. TEPCO has filed for the case to be dismissed, and a hearing has been scheduled for July 12, 2014, in federal court in San Diego. Mark that date, July 12. As I learn what can be done to support the sailors at that time, I'll let you know. And all things being equal, I will be there to cover the story for Nuclear Hot Seat. Now it's time for the NRC Duck and Cover Report. Only this time, it's the NRC that needs to be ducking and covering. Senator Barbara Boxer, chairwoman of the Environment and Public Works Committee, has demanded that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission cough up documents revealing details about precisely how San Onofre's nearly new $1 billion steam generators were poorly designed and failed to work as necessary. Boxer is asking what role the NRC's regulation, or lack thereof, played in the fiasco. The NRC's stance is that it doesn't have to give her everything, and reminded her that the NRC is an independent regulatory agency and that separation of powers concerns, that's a great phrase from them, separation of powers concerns protected against forced disclosure of certain documents to ensure that there's not even a potential appearance of the NRC being bullied by Congress and its political whims. To which Boxer, in her best bullying political stance, dropped her own little bomb with a public release of a legal analysis that says that the NRC and its rationale for withholding information is, to use a technical phrase, bogus. Morris Rosenberg, a legislative consultant with 35 years in the American Law Division of the Congressional Research Service, said, "These refusals to comply have been accompanied by constitutional and other legal justifications that are highly problematic and unsupported by accepted law and practice." He went on to say, "The NRC chairman, Sick, demonstrates a profound misunderstanding of the plenary, a legal term meaning unqualified or absolute, nature of Congress's investigatory power in the circumstances prevalent in the San Onofre matter, misstates the authority of 3 cited cases dealing with the law on congressional intercession, and shows a lack of awareness of over 90 years of congressional investigations in which agencies have been consistently obliged to provide documents and testimony. In the present circumstances, Rosenberg wrote, there is no question of constitutional power allocation. The NRC is a creation of the Congress, which alone is responsible for its mission, authority, and funding, and is subject to Congress's plenary, meaning absolute, oversight power to determine how well it is performing. The NRC declined to respond. Dennis Binder, law professor at Chapman University, said, the NRC's refusal to hand over the documents Boxer seeks gives the impression that somebody screwed up, and they're trying to cover up. Congress has an oversight function. The question to ask is, what are they hiding? What don't they want to come out? I wonder. Then, Senator Boxer and David Vitter, who's a Republican senator from Louisiana, clashed heatedly on Wednesday, June 4th, during the hearing on nuclear power safety. The dust-up started when Boxer repeatedly asked NRC Chairwoman Allison McFarland whether her agency has implemented any of the recommendations from a task force set up after the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster in Japan. McFarland began to say that the NRC prioritized certain recommendations and some would be completed by the end of 2016, 5 years after the accident. But Boxer was having none of it and kept interrupting McFarland, asking her to answer yes, no, or I don't know. Vitter interrupted, saying, Madam Chairman, we don't normally have hearings requiring the witnesses to fill in the bubble test forms. Boxer, living up to her last name, landed a 1-2 jab by saying, excuse me, when you have this gavel, you make the rules. She had the gavel, so she made the rules. Hoo-yah! We will have a video of Barbara Boxer, Senator Boxer, up on our website. This is a new video that has been produced by Mila Reason, one of the terrific activists here in Southern California. You'll find that link up on our website, nuclearhotseat.com, under episode number 155. From that same hearing with Barbara Boxer, Senator Ed Markey revealed that there's a new report yet to be published on the NRC's retaliation against those who raise safety concerns.
The NRC claims to foster a safety-conscious work environment where, and I quote, personnel feel free to raise safety concerns without fear of retaliation, intimidation, harassment, or discrimination. In the past year, my office has heard from an increasing number of whistleblowers from many different offices at NRC. These people are all serious, dedicated individuals who are calling my staff because they feel that they are not being heard by their own managers and colleagues. They feel that when they step forward to report safety, security, or other problems, they are systematically retaliated against. I have raised this concern many times with you. I am holding a report written by the NRC, but not yet publicly released, that actually surveyed those who have attempted to use NRC's formal processes for resolving policy disagreements. A staggering 75% of those who used them said that they received a poor performance appraisal after they raised their whistleblower concerns. Almost 2/3 of them said they were excluded from work activities by their management. 25% were passed over for promotions. 25% were even verbally abused by their colleagues and their supervisors. Those results are shameful, and I ask that portions of this report be entered into the record and request your formal written response for what you plan to do to fix these problems.
Without objection, so ordered.
I thank you, and I will just say that I began chairing a committee overseeing the Nuclear Regulatory Commission in 1981. I had a hearing on site at San Onofre in 1983 on site. And this just continues. This whole pattern just continues at the agency, and it is one that it's troubling because, especially post-Fukushima, it's very important for this culture to change, and I'm just afraid that it has not.
Senator Ed Markey. The NRC's bad news continued when their officials ran into open skepticism and hostility from local residents on Wednesday night, May 28th, as they were peppered with questions about persistent operating problems at the Vermont Yankee nuclear power plant, as well as future decommissioning issues. Activists brought laugh track buttons that they used whenever there was a response from William Dean, the Region 1 administrator for the NRC, as well as several others. NRC officials tried to ignore the sound effects, but then activists held up signs protesting the continued operation of Vermont Yankee. I just love the style of those activists. Many residents said they remain concerned about problems last year with faulty flood seals or seals that were not installed as Entergy Nuclear had told the NRC. Entergy traced the problem to miscommunication. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Activists focused on a statement by Dean that 15 to 18 months after Vermont Yankee shuts down, the reactor's spent fuel pool could lose its water with no serious ramifications. Activist Hattie Nessel said the NRC was not telling residents the truth. We are not fools, Nessel said. We do not buy it. Dean answered, I appreciate your freedom of expression, but said he found Nessel's comments very insulting, and went on to say, we take very seriously our role to assure the safety of the public around Yankee. That is our mission, and we are dedicated to that mission. To which the activists responded, I gotta get me one of those. And the bad news wasn't over for the NRC because they discovered elevated levels of radioactive water in 2 wells underneath the Indian Point nuclear power plant in New York, just 25 miles from downtown Manhattan. The spike was detected in April after the reactor for Unit 2 was shut down for refueling. NRC officials say that the prime suspect is a canal that is flooded to remove used fuel rods to the cooling pool. A previous leak was blamed on a faulty weld in the metal lining of that canal. Someone else might have said the dog ate it. Of course,